Hey, it's Tom from Inspiration Metalworks, and it is time to wrap up this this brew stand build. All right, most of this video is just going to be voiceover of what I did to get this finished up. In the last video, I got everything welded up and ready for finish, and there were some people who wanted to see a bit more of the actual work of what went into building this thing, and so it was great feedback. I was happy to get it. And so that's what I did on this one is I went through the process that I do to do this, this bronze antiquing, so give it an aged, weathered look. Because this is mild steel, and it's brand new. So as I'm grinding on it, cleaning it, all this stuff, it was getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And what they wanted was something a little darker. So let's go over that now, and I'll walk you through the steps that I did. I'll probably still do it in a fast forward, maybe not quite as fast, because this takes some time to do, but I'll walk you through what I do to get this done, to include the products that I use as I do this. Alright, so we moved the stand outside, and the very first thing that I do with this is you got to get the material cleaned up, right? The antique finish only works well on the bare metal. The mill scale on it will prevent it from doing as good a job as it can. I actually used just a quick strip pad on this and went through. I went ahead and changed a little bit though, because I realized that I needed to get the some of the welds a little better. So you can see that I did have the wire cup there, but most of what I did on camera, at least, is just using the pad here. It does a pretty good job. Again, I wasn't trying to get it completely bare. What I'm trying to do is have spots come through more than others, like it's been worn for a while. So we're just trying to get everything cleaned up here. Trying to get make sure that if there is any rust on it, we want to get the rust to a minimum. We want to get everything cleaned up as best as possible there. So just going through, getting it all as smoothed out as I can, and starting to get some of that wear in there. Here I switched to a Walter sanding disc, because the top has a stainless steel cover that's going to go on it. And so it never fails. My very best welds of the entire build are these ones that I'm grinding off, and you'll never even see them. Right, so it just never fails, right? But go through, get that, and then I went back through a little bit more with the cup wheel again, and again, the cup wheel just kind of helps feather some of that stuff in. It doesn't, a cup wheel like this isn't really meant to do high metal removal rates. It's really just meant to, clean it up a little bit, and like I said, smooth things out. So, nothing terribly crazy on this. Again, we're just trying to get it looking weathered. Once we get done with that, I just use mineral or pure spirits, turpentine, right? Mineral spirits, and very, very liberally, like dripping, almost pouring it on. And wipe the whole thing down really good, because there's still some residual oils on the metal. Even though I did do all the cleanup, there's still going to be stuff on there. So I use that turpentine, and I go through. And what I do is I try to do a pattern. I try to do the exact same thing as I move around. So I start at the top, work my way down, and work my way around, doing the same thing at each section to make sure that that I don't miss anything, right? So this is just getting the last of the oils off of it, any dirts, any the smoke from welding, the carbon buildup, things like that. We're just trying to get this nice and clean, and once that part of it's done, I mean, you see, I even go over a few things. I'll go over a couple of times just to make sure that everything is good and clean. And as you can see, there's a big difference between what that looked like and where we ended up. Now, the bronzing agent, this has actually got a light etch, so it does have a light acid in it, but um, it also contains some chemicals that give it that darker color. So the company that makes this, it's a company called Steel FX, so Steel and then the letters FX. That's what I use, and I got all the way to the end and realized I was running out. In fact, I did run out as I hit the last leg. I couldn't believe it. This was poor planning on my part here. It was my last bottle of it too. I thought I had more. So I actually went in, basically because it's just a liquid that goes through. I just kind of spread it around with my hands more, make sure that everything got a nice even coat. So I would have liked to have had about another 3 ounces of this to use, but this worked out pretty well because it gave it a nice streaky look. At this point, you can either rinse it off, or I let it dry, and then I took a light gray Scotch-Brite pad, which is the ultra fine, and I just went over everything with that Scotch-Brite pad. Not hard. This is really just to smooth everything out a little bit. It takes the streakiness out from where I was, where I spread it with the gloves, and it's just enough to smooth the finish some. And you want to make sure you get it all the way around. And as you can see, as I do it, you can see it's a little bit darker. Now, one thing, when I let it dry like this, because it is a mild acid, is it start, like I said, it really etches in. Now, I just used some Rust-Oleum clear on this, but I used a hammer tone finish. The hardest part about doing this is making sure that you're getting into all of the little nooks and crannies, right? Because this is something that we're doing this to seal the finish in, and to make sure that it doesn't rust from any more exposure to the air, right? So I just kind of worked my way around. Typically what I do is I go in and I try and spray the more difficult parts first, and get that part done, and then come in and do the rest of it. But I tell you, just getting this very first coat on, I used the entire can. It was a bit more than I expected. I thought I was going to have enough for 2 coats per can. I had 2 cans, so I went ahead, got that, and got everything done with that. But I actually ended up using a 3rd can off camera to once it had a good solid coat on it, the next couple of coats went on without needing quite as much material on there. So overall, I got a total of 4 coats of this clear hammer tone on there, and I think it came out pretty good. I'll put a couple of pictures up here so you can see, because you're just watching me hand spray some paint, so I don't want you to just have to sit and watch the paint dry. But here's some pictures of what it looks like, and I hope you enjoyed seeing how I do this, and maybe it'll help you on some of the finish work that you do. I don't always do black powder coat. I know a lot of my stuff is black powder coat. But thanks again for watching. Thanks again for subscribing. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know why. Don't just hit that thumbs down, and I'll try and do a better job next time. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.
You don't have to see, but see you just the same.